Energy never dies, it transforms. Science teaches us that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it only changes form. But what about memory? Can memory survive beyond a single lifetime? That's the question we are here to ask today. Can experiences of those who came before us somehow continue to influence those who come after? Across Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas, cultures that are literally separated by oceans, these cultures have preserved stories of people remembering places that they have never lived before, or even languages that they have never learned. Well, I don't know if this is coincidence or if it's culture or if it's psychology or something that definitely we really don't understand. However, welcome to Through the Veil. Today, we ask one of humanity's oldest questions: can memory live beyond one lifetime? So the question, right? Let's just begin with this simple question. Someone dies. What exactly dies? Is it the body? Yes, certainly the body dies. Is it the brain? Oh, definitely the brain goes also. But what about consciousness? What about memory? What about identity? These are questions that have occupied philosophers, theologians, and scientists for thousands of years. And we want to keep asking those questions in this episode and see where that leads us. And then when we're looking at these questions, there are more questions that, plague the mind. And I'm asking this question just in case you have answers to put in the comment section, because like I said, we are always here to ask questions and find answers to these questions. So what is memory, right? What does modern science explain about memory? Can memories be inherited biologically through our DNA? For example, research into epigenetics suggests that some effects of trauma and stress can influence later generations, though it does not demonstrate inheritance of personal memories. But the science is there to back this. So what did our ancestors say about memory? And why do so many unrelated cultures have stories involving rebirth and also returning souls? Well, we don't know, and we try to question that in this episode. So this is not a new question. I'm sure you watching this now have had this kind of debate possibly once or twice in your lifetime. But according to traditional African beliefs, many African cultures have concepts in which ancestors remain connected to the living. Some traditions also include beliefs about returning ancestors or rebirth within the family line. Though these beliefs are, they vary and widely different from culture to culture. Among some Igbo communities, ideas such as Ilo, returning to the world, have begun long ago. It's become part of oral tradition in this part of the world. In Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita, it teaches one of the holy scriptures of Hinduism. It teaches that soul changes bodies just like a person changes, clothes. It quotes a section, of this religious text. It says, just as a person puts on a new garment, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies. So that's what Hinduism also, teaches. According to Buddhism, many Buddhist traditions teach rebirth, though they understand it differently from the idea of an exchanging soul moving from one body to another. However, in mainstream Christianity, Christian theology teaches resurrection rather than reincarnation. However, some people would also point out passages such as when Jesus says to John the Baptist that he came in the spirit and power of Elijah, right? Most Christian scholars do not interpret these passages as teaching of reincarnation, neither does Islam. Classic Islamic theology does not teach reincarnation at all. Well, we're not here to talk about all these other religions. We're here to speak about what our ancestors actually believed. But then, when we're looking at this, we need to look at one story that really, really challenges, these questions to the core. It's a very popular story that happened in India during the 1930s. It's the case of Shanti Devi. She reportedly described the name of her previous family just as a child. She also described details of a house she had never visited, which was the house she claimed she was from, described the exact house location and all of that. And then she also described personal events that she witnessed, which later matched real people. So how do we explain this? The case attracted attention from investigators, educators, and public figures of the time, which always pushes that question: does this prove reincarnation? I can't say, do I believe in reincarnation? Yes, kind of do. But the from the Igbo spiritualist perspective, if one hasn't completed God's purpose for them in this time and age, we often have to come back and redo it until you achieve God's purpose. And then when we have completed God's purpose, our spirit rises to a higher dimension and never returns back to this dimension. So do I believe that? Yeah, kind of stick with my forefathers. I will choose the knowledge that they studied and learned over a long period of time. They have stories of Obanje, but stronger stories of Abiku in the Yoruba culture, where when they have these kids that are born and die young, in order to identify that child coming back, they give the child a scar, and then if the child dies and returns with that same scar, kind of know that this child has come again. These stories have been told for years upon years, thousands of years, and we're aware of it, but we kind of choose not to identify with it or accept it. Could there be other possible explanations? Possibly, right? But this reminds us that there are experiences that remain difficult to explain and deserve careful investigation rather than immediate dismissal. Now let's look at what science says. Science has not demonstrated that personal memories survive death. However, several areas of research raise fascinating questions. Like I said, epigenetics suggests that the effects of trauma or stress can sometimes influence later generations. This is why we look at African Americans in the United States, and a lot of people have the opinion that even till date, generational trauma and stress still affects young generations being born today. These things are scars that are imprinted in our DNA, and then new generations come with that same DNA imprint and take on that trauma. Neuroscience continues to explore how memory is formed, stored, and reconstructed. Psychology has documented cases where memory can be remarkably accurate, and others where it can be, surprisingly unreliable. But the important point is science is still exploring consciousness, and this conversation is very far from over. Well, looking through the veil, perhaps there's a bigger question, which is not, have I lived before? Perhaps it is, what am I carrying that did not begin with me? Maybe it is family trauma, inherited wisdom, cultural memory, values, stories, language, or faith, maybe. Whether we call that inheritance, ancestry, or something more mysterious, every one of us carries the lives of those who came before us in some way or some form. That alone should make us pause and rethink all that we think we know about reincarnation. It's important to note that when we look at memory and how memory survives time, one thing that I was watching the other day, Mazi Dibia, one of an interesting, wise, holder of ancient Igbo history, cultures, practices, spirituality, identified something that I had previously identified in 2021, thereabouts, 2022, thereabouts, when I was in a conversation with a mentor of mine who's also an Igbo spiritualist. And he made mention of the Epibali that is used to cast divinations and get information stored in the ether. This information or knowledge, I said at the time, was stored in the Akashic records. So it's more like when we talk about cloud storage today, when we're looking at technology, and things are just up in the air, like in the cloud, and we don't know. Michael Jackson will say something. He will say every time he had a new idea of a song, he rushed into the studio immediately to sing that song immediately as soon as possible, because in his head, every time he had new inspirations about new music. Prince also had new inspiration about those kinds, similar inspirations about music also. So because he had fear that Prince would sing or release the song before him, he goes to the studio immediately to push it out as soon as he can. And that's literally what the Akashic records hold. Is more like send and receive in the air, like the internet will do, one arrow up, one arrow down. And while we are sending thoughts, we're also receiving thoughts too at the same time. Where those thoughts come from, we don't know. in the 19th century, thereabout, during the time of Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, and the rest, a lot of new inventions were happening almost at the same time. And the people involved in these new inventions had ideas that no one told them about, but were living in different continents. And no one can really explain where these ideas come from and how people get to have same ideas, but living in different times, living in different places, and it comes. So there's some form of mystical source of information in the ether, which is referred to as the Akashic record. And that's where memory survives, if you ask. Or how we tend to get those memories over time, something that we really can't know. A lot of things are unexplainable, where humanity started from, how this world was created. No matter all the origin stories that we could come up with, no one truly ever knows. Again, this episode is proudly brought to you by Go Digital, powered by Bonitas Technologies and Marketing, Bonitas Media Solutions, in partnership with Activate Hub. Is your business struggling to attract customers online? Go Digital help businesses build a professional online presence through branding, web design, social media management, content creation, and digital marketing strategies that drive real growth. Whether you're a startup, individual, SME, NGO, or established business, Go Digital gives you the tools to be seen, trusted, and remembered. Because in today's world, if your business isn't visible online, you're invisible to many of your future customers. Visit Go Digital today and let your business take its next digital step. I'll leave you with these thoughts. Whether or not memory survives beyond our lifetime or beyond one lifetime, there's one kind of memory we know survives. Stories we tell, the values we pass on, the lives we shape, the children we raise, the communities we build. Perhaps the most important question is not whether we return. Perhaps it is what part of us will still be alive in the people who come after us. Thank you again for joining me on another journey through history, memory, and the questions that refuse to stay behind and buried. If today's conversation made you think, share it with someone who enjoys asking difficult questions. Next time, we will explore the mystery around time. Until then, keep asking questions, keep searching for wisdom, and remember, not everything forgotten is lost. It's been a pleasure having this episode and just pouring out what has been on my mind for years, asking these questions. I remain Ralu Chukuma. This is Through the Veil, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you.